Hello YouTube, it's me again. I hope you all had a lovely Valentine's Day. I'm sorry that it took so long. As I said, I tried to make this more monthly, and what better time to make a video than just after Valentine's Day. So this will be posted in the next day or two from prior to its recording. What I wanted to do for this video is, during Valentine's Day you always hear those soppy, romantic-y little songs we hear in the charts, all these iconic ballads, and I thought to myself, we never really talk much about like the love songs we hear from alternative bands or gothic bands or post-punk bands or anything of that type of genre. So what I wanted to do was to make this video. So this is my top 10 favourite love songs from goth or alternative bands. Just a little disclaimer, for this video I want to focus primarily on songs of love and the romantic idea instead of like the seductive, illustrious side, because that has its own little list. So I'm gonna shut up right now. I'm going to try not to cut so much over because my phone's been fucking up recently. I've literally just had to retake this 4 times because I keep on saying the storage is full. I had to try and use my camera. The battery's overheating because I'm basically setting this on my radiator. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first song, number 10, this is Siouxsie and the Banshees, Last Beat of My Heart. Now what I like about this song is not only just the build-up, this slow, major key build-up, but it's got that nice, ethereal, haunting sound which drags you straight in. Even Siouxsie's lyrical content, it's very true, it's very iconic to state that how we would feel that we would love someone and do what we could for them, even if it's from the last beat of our heart. And we've all felt like that before in our past, where we've said in context that we'd love you until the last beat of my heart or the last drop of my soul or whatever. And it's one of those songs which I think it's underrated if you don't know the back catalogue of Siouxsie and the Banshees, but it's one of those iconic goth songs that if you are in love and you want to feel appreciated or show your appreciation, it's one of those songs which is haunting, it's beautiful, and that it should not be forgot about. And it's a beautiful song in general. If you listen to the lyrical context of it, it takes you down that journey of that despair and overall sense that this type of stuff is serious, that love itself is serious, and that we would do anything for them, even putting ourselves through that type of trauma and anguish. So number 9 is Sister Mercy with Valentine. Now this song is a little bit unconventional in the sense of the normal lyrical analysis is not talking directly about love, but it's more about finding that love, finding that lost hope. We can hear this through Andrew, which is choice of lyrics where he talks about like the famine, he talks about the overall world dying and dark, and he's saying that waiting for a Valentine as if saying that waiting for my hope, waiting for what's been searching for, what we are overall looking for and desiring for. So it's not a love song in the basis of it's directly to someone, but it's more of a love song of how we find someone and aiming to find that person. And I think it's an important song to mention as well because it's one version of love that we don't tend to look at. It's more from like a brooding perspective, but regardless it's still quite valid. Once again, the song itself is actually quite beautiful, the guitars are well done, the drums are well sampled, and even the way how Andrew Elrich sings this, it's got a lot of passion and emotion, and it's something that if you listen to it you would see why that it's in this video. Right, number 8, I'm going for London After Midnight with Sacrifice. I know this is more towards dark wave music, but I'm using the goth, an alternative term, as the overall umbrella term, so I'm nitpicking and not choosing selectively from one time period or subgenre. And what I like about this song is not only is it one of their classics, but it's very accurate to the point of that we would do this type of stuff for people. Sean Brennan delivers such a powerful line to it which is the chorus goes, I'll sacrifice myself for you because I love you. And the amount of times that we've gone through this type of ordeal in our lives where we've said or would present that we would sacrifice things for other people, that we'd sacrifice certain bits or give up certain things just to keep those ones that we love hold dear to us, that would do that type of stuff for love, would sacrifice things in the meaning of love. And it is a very beautiful and powerful song in its own right, and it's something that should be looked into. Once again, I forgot to mention all the songs be jotted down below, so if you haven't heard any of these songs, feel free to check them out. But no, it is a powerful song. It's something that it's one of those songs from the 90s that really projected the way how romanticism in Gothic music would end up evolving. So during the 90s era, when doom metal and dark wave became more of a thing, these bands were experimenting with how to project those type of emotions, and the London After Midnight did such a brilliant job on this song. Number 7 is Peter Murphy's My Last 2 Weeks. When I returned, I chose it purely for the way how we can perceive this. It's not a direct way of saying you're in love, but the moment that you hear the song, it's got that nice slow major upbuild similar to Siouxsie and the Banshees. But when you listen to the song, Peter Murphy opens up with, when I return, you'll forget my last 2 weeks. And the way how I like to connotate this is that I like to see it as a song through different perspectives. So the one which I like to analyse and use mainly as my synopsis is that during that 2 weeks when he returns from where he came, or where he's coming back to a time where those last 2 weeks were lost, or he wants to regain or bring back or relive, should I say. And I like to incorporate this more into like a long distance relationship. For those who are in long distance relationships, it's something that if you analyse pretty nicely and very carefully, it's one of those where you tend to think about those 2 weeks or how longer you and your partner have seen each other or wish to see each other. It's a nice song to regain hope that long distance stuff can work, and that it tends to really branch out and give that overall sense of meaning. And that's why I like to incorporate My Last 2 Weeks in that type of song and connotation. Once again, I could have chose All Night Long, but I thought that Last 2 Weeks had something just a little bit more special to it. Right, number 6, I chose Nick Cave with Do You Love Me. Out of all the Nick Cave songs I could have picked stuff like Into My Arms, which was so close to becoming on this list, but because as much of your song is, it's been overplayed so many times, and I don't necessarily think it connects more to the alternative side, but more to the commercialization side. But I could have also chose songs like Lover Man, but I thought that'd be too leaning towards a seductive era, which is why I'm keeping it out and maybe putting in the other list. So with Do You Love Me, I like the fact that it's a lot darker than other ballady type of stuff that Nick Cave has done. It's got a traditional Bad Seed vibe, that dark, brooding overall feel to it, and the fact that he is not saying it directly that he loves someone like he would do in his other songs, but he's questioning it from the other person's perspective. He goes, do you love me like I loved you? And he's talking about that dark, brooding path of going to search that answer, and just overall pain and anguish that people would go through for love, and it shows very beautifully in the song as well. Once again, it's one of the darker songs. It's a very underrated Nick Cave song, especially in that type of context, but regardless, it's still valid. Right, number 5 is The Mission with Heaven Sends You. Now this one is a very personal favourite. I could have easily put on this list Love Me to Death, which is a beautiful song in its own right. It's very direct forward. It's about showing appreciation, the love that someone has for another, that type of intertwined connection that people would die for each other as well. But with Heaven Sends You, I love the song. It's my favourite Mission song of all time because of this reason. When you listen to it, it opens up. It has Wayne Hussey's ethereal, beautiful guitar, which just sets that angelic mood, which I get from the song. And even the lyrics themselves, where he talks about kissing the tear from the cheek and kiss the stain from the lips. And during the chorus, he go, "I'll kiss you till heaven sends you." He talks about seeing this person as his guidance, his angel, all that type of stuff, which I think is quite important, especially in a relationship where you feel wanted, and that's, once again, we can relate this to like a distance thing as well, where we'll meet again, that love has got no boundaries even to the high heavens, and that overall I think the song packs quite a lot of emotion for ballads, especially a dark ballad like that, because he touches on stuff like the connection with the body and that type of near seductive side, but overall the theme itself is quite romantic and quite heartbreaking at the same time. And I strongly suggest Heaven Sends You for anyone who's getting into or is into that type of very dark, compacted 80s type of romantic theme. Number 4, and this is going to be a little bit of an unusual one. This band has been around for about just over 10 years now, so it's pretty new. But this is Dommin with Remember. Now, what I love about Dommin is when I saw them back about 2010, 2011 with him and Lacuna Coil, was they had that traditional, like, gothic-y 90s feel. It's like Turbo Negative meets like a hymn type of thing, so it's quite normally upbeat, and their album itself, Love Is Gone, is such a dark album. It's like the anti-hymn, where when him would talk about love, Dom would talk about the death of love and how love doesn't exist. But during the concept of this album, just the ending, which is the song Remember, where he talks about the 5 stages of grief, how he's angry, how he's depressed, how he's bargaining for it, and then he comes to the acceptance, and starts off with a nice, beautiful, gentle piano, and you hear Christopher Dommin's vocals talking quite in an optimistic point of view, and then the chorus brings out how, "Do you remember what it feels like to fall in love since I saw you?" And then it's just that snap of reality that even when in the darkest times where you think that love is just meaningless and it doesn't exist, that truly it does. And it's one of those songs which is very underrated on the album, but it's such a beautiful ending. Once again, if you've never heard of Dommin, please check them out. They're an absolute brilliant band, lovely people as well. I'll link it down below highly. It's one of those where it's not dark and gothic-y to, say, normal ones, but it sticks to the traditional ballads structure. And it's something, once you listen to the full album, you'll understand why it's on this list. Right, number 3. And this is going to be very predictable, and this is a Cure song, and of all the Cure songs I could have chose, I wanted to stick to Love Song. Now, Love Song is one of those Goth songs that will definitely be played, because not only is it cliche and very Cure-esque, it's got that dream poppy, gothic rock mix, but even like just how the way Robert Smith would sing that song, it's very true, especially when we're missing someone and how you feel without them. It hits very hard, especially for anyone who got into the Cure through that type of song. It's a beautiful, well-structured song. The guitar solo is beautifully haunting, and even the way how he describes how he feels when he's with that person, we can all relate to that, and no matter how far away, that you'll always love someone. And once again, long-distance connections. It is one of those songs that everyone knows, everyone loves for a good reason. It's very popular for a very good reason, and I'm very proud to have it on this list. Right, number 2, I chose The Damned's Shadow of Love. Going more towards like that tongue-in-cheek type of gothic sound, what I liked about it is that when we set the mindset, we picture ourselves in this type of dark, brooding, Victorian-esque type of look, and you find that the shadow of love is the metaphor of the unknowing, that you walk into the shadow of love, you walk into the unknown of what is expected, especially when you are falling into the romantic emotions, and just the way how it's overall sang, how not to be scared of it, don't be afraid to step into the shadow of love, don't be afraid to fall in love in general. It's a very beautifully well constructed song. And number 1, and this is probably going to be everyone's top favourite, but I had to have this one because to me, it's one of those songs which I can imagine at Gothic weddings being played constantly, because it's so well constructed. This is Typo Negative's Love You to Death. And once again, I've got a soft spot for pianos. I don't know why, but to me it just sets the beautiful ethereal mood. And just the way how Peter Steele would sing that song is just hauntingly addictive. And he talks about it in a near seductive connotation on certain lyrics, but the overall feel of it is him going about letting this person, allowing him to love them to death, but also just the ending, especially the full minute version when the guitars slow down and he pleads, "Am I good enough for you?" It's just a well-constructed song. I can't even begin to imagine, if you've never heard Typo Negative or heard Love You to Death, it's thought out of, and even for those who do know this song, with big Typo Negative fans, you can see why it's on this. I know people are going to argue or debate that why do metal goth rock bands on top, but if you listen to the song, I personally haven't found a love song written by an alternative / goth band that has precisely hit the emotions of love as well as Typo Negative have. Just the overall feel, the way how it builds up, the ethereal build up at the end, it sends shivers down your spines and tears to your eyes. And this is my video. So I've kind of rushed through them a little bit. I didn't want to delay too much just in case that my phone did cut out again. So I hope that you all love this video. I'll send all the links down below, and if you are getting into like the romantic type of stuff and you want to play like a Love Valentine's Day playlist, then I'd recommend these songs. You can obviously throw your own little ones in, but these ones are sure to hit a nice little soft spot in the heart. So I'll catch you very soon, and I'm going to be doing my next video on the top 10 sad songs in Gothic and alternative music. So I'll catch you very soon. Bye.